friends. It is good to be with you again. And as we draw near the end of a memorable year in 2020, we wanted to squeeze in between child's nap time and before baby number 4 is here in a couple days, just one more chance to share with you the vision we have for the church plant in Pinckney. And our hope, again, is to, in the early months of 2021, to get a core team assembled as we file for incorporation to be an official church with the Church of the Nazarene.
And so as you tune in today, we just ask that you would do so with an open heart as to how God may be speaking to you and your family, and that you would respond in faithfulness to how He is leading in your life. It may be to move to Pinckney and partner with us for the church plant, and we would obviously be really thrilled with that, or to support us through prayer and giving, which we're always grateful for, or even if it's just to re-engage with your local church. We'd be glad to see you commit to just fully engaging with a church family.
So we just thank you for taking a few minutes to tune in with us today. And so while we don't have all of the specifics figured out for the church plant, we do know that we want our gatherings to be a combination of big church and small church. And by big church, we mean kind of what you think of with a traditional Sunday morning service, worship service. And by small church, we mean geographically based small churches, house churches that will one day dot the countryside from Whitmore Lake to Stockbridge and from Hamburg to Ann Arbor. And so our plan is that on the first and third Sundays of the month, we will gather as a big church, all of the house churches coming together to worship and celebrate and hear from God. And then on the second and fourth Sundays, we'll scatter back out across the community as we gather in our homes doing house church and life together. And then on months with a fifth Sunday, our plan is to convene out in the community, serving our neighbors with our time and with our talents. And what I love about our church operating in this way is that it helps to remind us that the church is so much more than a building. The church is not confined to an address and a location, but we as the local church are the body of Christ, whether we gather to worship or we go out and scatter to serve. And so if we think of big church and small church as the how to Pinckney Community Church of the Nazarene, we could consider these three phrases, three things, as the whys that are driving our how and our what as a church. And so the first part of our why is open hearts. We want our hearts to be open to God and open to one another. Jesus calls us to love God with all of who we are and to love our neighbors as ourselves. And we believe it's really hard to do that if our hearts are closed or if our hearts are hardened. And so it's kind of just a reminder that as Nazarenes, we believe God is constantly at work sanctifying us, refining our hearts as He shapes us to reflect His image to the world around us. And so it's essential that our hearts are not closed, but our hearts are open and remain open to see and hear the work that God desires to do in us and through us. And so that's the first phrase, open hearts. The second part of our why is open hands. At PCC, we want our hands to be open as we serve the communities and the creation that surround us. Jesus modeled that everything we have is a gift graciously given to us by God and to be used for His glory. And it's our desire to reflect that as individuals, as families, and as a church. And so therefore we are committed to caring for our culture and our creation by giving generously of ourselves, living with open hands as we integrate our faith, our life, our vocations, and partner with Jesus to bring about flourishing lives locally and globally. And so the third part of our why is open homes. We want our homes to be places of rest and refreshment, of fun and fellowship. We strive to posture ourselves as hospitable neighbors, where it's not just numbers in the cul-de-sac or on the road, but friends and faces and families that we get to know and care for. And it's our hope and our desire to seek the welfare of those that we share workspaces and grocery stores and classrooms with. And as we follow Jesus' leading and Jesus' example, we too ensure that everybody is welcome in our homes and in our lives. And as we wrap up, I just want to share a short prayer with you that I came across this year. And the prayer is titled The Haven. And as I was reflecting on the vision for our church plant, and this prayer is something that helped to shape the vision. And it reads as follows. It says, Lord, take this song and fill it with your presence. Let it bring a word of hope to weary, careful hearts. Take this song and fill it, Lord. Fill it with your presence. Fill it with yourself. Lord, take my life, or take our lives, if we read it as a communal prayer. It says, Lord, take our lives and fill them with your praises. Let us speak a word of peace that Jesus brings in us. Take our lives and fill them, Lord. Fill them with yourself. The last verse goes as this. It says, Lord, take this place and fill it with your blessing. Let it be a haven where the poor in spirit sing. Take this place and fill it, Lord. Fill it with your praise. Above anything else, it's our hope, our desire that Pinckney Community Church of the Nazarene would be a haven where the poor in spirit can sing the praises of our God and King. As we open our hearts, our hands, and our homes to God and to others, may we do so humbly, yet expectantly that God will show up to redeem and transform lives and communities.
So we just want to thank you for tuning in, all of our friends out there, and we hope to hear from you soon. Have a Merry Christmas.
Bye, guys.
Bye.